Hey everyone, we're live today on the You vs. You show, and we're coming to you on this Tuesday, and we are going to be going live, doubling down in the month of December. December is definitely the month to remember, and I am the CEO of the InsideOut Institute. I'm the author of the book You vs. You bestseller that you can get on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Walmart around you. And today we have an amazing person that I'm just great friends with, number one, and she's a wonderful woman, wonderful leader, and I'm excited to have her on the You vs. You show. And just so everyone knows that's watching this, you know, we don't like to talk about surfacey things. Does that make sense? I don't want to get on live and talk about, you know, the weather or even COVID or, you know, even hopes and dreams, right? We want to talk about real issues that are real battles. And I know that's a strong word for a lot of people, you know, battles and war and all that stuff, but we're all going through definitely some battles in our life. And it could be an inner war, a turmoil, even a crisis. So we definitely want to really help you from the inside out. And that's why we're here. So my guest today, her name is Kimberly Hausmann. She is an entrepreneur extraordinaire. She's been used to owning businesses. She's been used to the grind of entrepreneurship. And she's also a person of character, of integrity, and really an incredible, a lot of different skill sets. She's a mother of, I think, 3 boys, right, Kimberly? 3?
Yeah, 3 boys.
Yep, 3 boys. 19, is it like 19, 20, 21? Or
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Back to back to back. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And I think one is serving in the future in the Army, or how many sons do you have that are in the military?
Actually, I'll have 3. So my oldest just returned from Korea.
Nice.
And my middle son just came into town from Japan, and my youngest just enlisted for 3 years, so he'll be going in January.
Military family. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Well, I want to come on right away and just get into our interview. And obviously, I've known you for many, many months. I think we first met in February of this year, if I'm correct, February, March. And, you know, we connected through a referral and really just connected, and you became, you know, one of our clients, but now you're one of our trusted advisory members on the board. You are a leadership coach extraordinaire. You've had many, many clients. And we'll talk about that towards the end, but I want to talk about you. I want to talk about when life kind of, I don't know if it creeps up on you, but like, let's say you're just kind of in that zone, everything's going good, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day, boom, you know, like the Rocky Balboa movie, like you're boxing, kind of like that guy that just got knocked out a couple days ago in that celebrity boxing match by that YouTuber. You're just like, you know, knocked down cold, in that's going to happen, I think, to all of us, and I think we all can relate. So tell me a little bit about the bitter or better, kind of your philosophy when, even though you're on that path and you're really focused and like things are going good, high five and everyone's great, you're just, you know, living your best life and all this stuff, and then something happens, and it could be an array of different things, obviously from the outside coming in, or maybe it even can happen to somebody on the inside and they didn't even expect it. So what happens to you in these cases, even recently, that you just had to, man, kind of buckle down, or what are some things that you did to kind of pull yourself out of some of these tough situations that we might find ourselves in?
Yes. Well, first, thank you for having me, and thank you for being my coach since February, and of course, my friend also.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have been able to witness my, you know, high flying, high fiving, on my A game, on top of my A game. And then I'll just call it like it is. I was gut punched and throat punched on my A game, completely caught me off guard. And honestly, if it wasn't for your friendship, your guidance, your coaching, and you knowing how to get my attention so I didn't go dark on a gut punch, I really appreciate that. You were one of the first, you know, people that I reached out to, because I think everybody needs a coach, because when you are going through trauma and you are getting life gut punched, you could either get bitter or you could get better. And I shared with you last night on our corporate call, and our amazing call that we have on a mastermind on Mondays, is, you know, you have to learn and utilize what you're taught. And this was the first time that I had to fly off out of the nest, and really you and Emanuel just kind of came up beside me and helped me, you know, get my wings underneath me, and something that probably could have taken a long time to get through. I'm actually recovering really quickly, and I've never felt more empowered. And I have a voice. And so thank you for your support and pushing me and guiding me. and getting me back on my A game.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And of course, and vice versa. Thank you. I think we both can relate. You went through something, I think, in the past 30 days, and I went through something, very traumatic in the past, October 8th. And it's you just kind of don't, it's like, it's almost like you get bitter too. And let's just be real, because, you can get bitter, you can get better, and it's cute. It's a cute thing. And of course it's true. And of course we want to get better, but let's just talk about the reality of kind of the human brain and our mind is probably because of our ego. We're going to focus on the bitterness and why this isn't fair and why, I shouldn't have to deal, why me and stuff like that. So tell me a little bit about this going dark thing, because I recently read something about this, and I forget, and I don't want to quote anything because it's kind of, my memory doesn't serve me correctly, but there's a lot of people that do go dark, and whether it comes to abuse, because I think that's what we both have dealt with at pretty much the highest level, but they're different. So your trauma is different than my trauma, and we never want to compare traumas. But I think for what both we've gone through, we easily could have went dark. So what going dark just simply means a lot of things. It could be just quiet. You don't want to tell anyone. You're embarrassed. And I think people that go through traumas, they have that shame, or they don't know who to turn to. So you said something to me on a phone call. You said, the kind of old Kimberly would definitely have went dark for 6 months. And I was like, thinking about that. Yeah. I was like, wow, like what would happen in your life for 6 months to go dark? And what does that mean for the old Kimberly? Like, if you could explain that a little bit, because maybe someone is kind of like in you, or like you in the old Kimberly way, where something traumatic happens to them, they do go dark. And how did you not do it this time? Is it just because you reached out to can we get clear on that? Because I know a lot of people probably are doing what you used to do.
Yeah. So I only knew going dark. So without life skills, energy work, a supportive, environment, friends, I just would go dark. I didn't want to tell anybody my problems. I didn't want to inconvenience anybody. You're embarrassed. You're at the time I was filtering through so much head trash that, you kind of spin it like maybe you had something to do with it, or maybe you were the problem, or karma's getting you back. And so all the time, and anybody that knows me for a long time, oh, she's just going dark, she'll be back. And I would rise even stronger. I had to be my own biggest fan, my own support. I had to white knuckle it. It's not the easiest. It is a waste of time. And the only reason why I've been able to come back so much quicker is because I've been a part of the InsideOut Institute. I have gotten rid of 90% of my head trash. I didn't have to filter through all that and the trauma. I was able to have a body code session to get the trauma released very quickly. And I was able to not allow my voice to be taken from me. And so that is why I haven't gone dark. And listen, I wanted an excuse to go dark because I'm very comfortable in my darkness. I know my ritual. I know what I do. I go in my little stuff that I do. I make some bad decisions, and all those rushes that you try to get a quick fix to numb out. And then I return. I wouldn't say I was returning better, but I would return in a way that I could package it to push forward. And it's not the healthy way to do, because eventually it comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's talk about that, because I want to dive into this, because again, I'm going through the same stuff that you're going through. And on a spiritual level, I was listening to Rick Warren. He's the pastor. I love him. His book really changed my life over 20 years ago, The Purpose-Driven Life. And it made me move to San Diego and start a church. And therefore I became an entrepreneur. I mean, it was amazing. But he talks about exactly what you're talking about. And even on a spiritual level, God's will is not for us to just go get abused. God's will for us in our life is not to do that, but it just happens. I mean, we live in a very unperfect world, a very sinful world, a world of a lot of bad people and a lot of good people. And the temptation, and that's the key word, temptation, is when something bad happens to us, it's like we almost have an excuse to do bad things to ourselves, and we make the road so much harder. So I love what you're saying, because this is really captivating some people that are watching this, because they're like, look, because I feel it, you feel it. It's almost like we feel it's okay to fall back in our own personal life. Maybe it's eating a bunch of crap. Maybe it's, just going after relationships, just to ease the pain. but they're never going to be long-lasting relationships. Maybe with certain people, they fall addicted to drugs and alcohol, and they justify it. And again, and every other person, like, I get it. You know, I can't believe you've gone through that. Yeah, I get it. You're drinking more, and you know, you're not working out as much. But this is that opportunity in our life that we can actually double down. And I want to talk about how you've been able to do this, how you've been able to double down on some what we call the KPIs in your life, the key performance indicators, the meditations, maybe it's the journaling, maybe it's the reading, maybe it's the exercising, maybe it's the staying healthy when maybe we don't feel healthy mentally. Because and also like making sure we protect ourselves from those temptations. And also a big temptation is negative thinking and just getting into the woe is me mentality, even though we're so justified sometimes, or so it seems, to do that. So how have you really, and to continue that strive to really keep those KPIs up? Is it through your routine? Is it a decision you're just taking action on? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so being in a ritual and a routine really kept me on track. I mean, that was really the only thing that kept me on track. You know, like I shared with you a long time ago, meditation was so new to me. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it had to be a big production. I had to get the beach, the skirt, go by a river, spend an hour. No, you just set a timer for 5 minutes and it
Yeah.
totally grounds you. And then you have your afternoon meditation. So I found comfort in my rituals.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, my body wouldn't allow me to go dark. I wanted to numb out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I didn't get bitter because I didn't have a lot of head trash to filter through. I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, what is the purpose for this? There's a purpose for this and there's a reason. And usually sometimes the message and the reason is for me. But as I dissected it and replayed it in my mind 1,000 times, what happened to me was not the message was not for me. This message is going to be for other people to
Mm-hmm.
not lose their voice and to stand up for themselves and to know that,
Yeah.
there's just certain things that are just not okay. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just not okay. So
Yeah.
I have a very successful coaching practice, and so I had to stay on track with that. I
Yep.
get to talk to men and women all over the world, and that's what kept me going because I was able to give hope and help
Yep.
people in their relationships, their families, their physical health, their mental health, their finances, and their career. And so that is what kept me going, is
Yeah.
helping and being gratitude to other people. And I feel a lot of connection with you because we are going through some really prideful stuff. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
have to say that out loud.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did not think
Yeah.
this was going to be on my list of life lessons. And it's been
Yeah.
very humbling.
It is. It's humbling and also inspiring. I did a live yesterday about like abuse and stuff, and I think we all have our blind spots. And when it comes to any form of abuse, I think it really depends on how you grow up. I mean, if your parents abused you or semi-abused you, or if your sister or your brother kind of abused you, and it's almost like you or kids at the playground, or and even when it comes to like sexual abuse and stuff like that, it's almost like, well, it's happened before, no big deal. The world's sexual. I mean, we get really in this blind spot, like that's just the way the world is. And I think once we create that self-awareness, and hopefully these people that we're talking to, I mean, if you're a narcissistic person, I mean, it's hard to create self-awareness because you're all about yourself, but if the normal world, most people are pretty normal and not that way, but it's like you want to create self-awareness to be like, okay, this is a bad situation. It sucks. I have to go through that. But wait a minute. What did this just teach me? This just taught me X, Y, Z about myself. Not just how I want to get stronger. And of course that is true, but it also has taught me like, I'm never going to put myself in that situation, or I'm never going to allow this person to do this to me again. And that you're building this kind of momentum in the heart. It's like you're kind of, opening your heart more. And we talk about in the InsideOut Institute how to remove heart walls too, because we also have to forgive. And, there's that time and place for that as well. So you said something about like goals, and you had, you still obviously have a great clientele and stuff. How important is that? Because if you didn't have that, you probably would have won dark. I don't think anyone would have. But how has
Yeah.
goals helped your mental health? Like having actual goals and a vision, and of course you have accountability and people that are checking in on you and stuff like that, but your own kind of focus. How has that really helped you personally in your mental health journey in the past 30 days?
It's kept me accountable. It's
Mm-hmm.
kept me plugged in. It keeps me showing up. It keeps my mind off of,
Mm-hmm.
rehashing events and, trying to package it in a safe place. It just kept me really focused. And I
Yeah.
want to add on to what you're saying earlier about, stuff happens to you. Well, sometimes you don't have a choice and stuff just happens to you.
Right. Yeah.
And one thing that was really challenging about some things is that our society is so desensitized to things.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I've been surprised at some of the people who
Yeah.
were like it's like a no big deal, and it's kind of been a
Right.
little sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is a big deal. And I think if you're around people that think any kind of form of abuse or anything, like you said, like sometimes it's not even, it just happens to you and it's out of your hands. I mean, obviously there's horrible situations that does happen. It's hard to deal with it. And I think if people are desensitized to it, you got to change your inner circle. I mean, that alone is a self-awareness. Just be like, wait a minute, and these are supposed to be my good friends, or this is supposed to be a family member, and they're just like, giving me weird, horrible advice. So, wow, no wonder some of the things in my past has nothing to do with maybe that incident, but some of the things in my past, I was kind of apathetic because I'm around apathetic people, and I think that's where our faith comes in, and that's where our, I don't know what you call it, conservatism, or just, I mean, our world right now is desensitized. I've seen posts today about celebrities that are now men. I mean, they're women, they have women parts, but now they're men, and it's all over Instagram, and people are praising this person. Now they're a man, but wait a minute, yesterday they were a woman. So, and again, no judgment on my side, but when does it end? When does that end? And I saw another post about gender. It's like, your child, there's, gender parties shouldn't exist because that's violence towards the baby. They should decide what gender they're in. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we're living in such a weird world right now, in my opinion, that now it's violence if we have gender reveal parties for babies. And if we keep getting desensitized to the world, we're of the world. And if we're of the world, we all know at the end of the story where the world's going. So how can someone just be strong in a world right now that is desensitized, that looks at sin, that looks at challenges, or looks at bad, unethical things as ethical, and the ethical things of life are unethical in a lot of people's view? So, Kimberly, how do we be strong for every person that's conservative, that's watching this, that has morals and values, that doesn't want to, put themselves in bad situations? How can that person stand up and be strong when maybe the majority of people are just like, whatever, just do whatever, it's all good? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think a person has to self-care themselves into a better place.
Mm-hmm.
I think it starts from within first before you could, help people outside.
Mm-hmm.
It all starts within. And so that's one thing that the Inside Out Institute has done for me. It has
Mm-hmm.
allowed me the space and grace to really become of myself and find my voice. As you know, I entered as a healer practitioner, but
Mm-hmm.
then found my inner leader voice. And so
Mm-hmm.
I have a message for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not want an incident. My mission is for.
Yeah.
So sorry about the glitchiness in the phone.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Well, I think she just left. Anyway, oh, there goes Kimberly. But I can wrap it up. I had a couple things in my notes. I think when you go through what Kimberly's going through, and you're going through anything that you're going through, I think there are points where you're not going to figure it out. And here she comes. Let me just go ahead and add it.
I'm not sure what
There you
happened.
go.
I
Well,
have
we'll
a
give it.
message, right? And so that's
Yeah,
why all these glitchy things are
yeah,
happening. No,
yeah.
I have
Yep.
such a message, and I can't wait to get my
Okay, I have no clue. There you go. You there?
want to just get my message out, and I just can't wait to write my first book. It's going to be like I
Yeah.
can't make this shit up.
Yep, exactly. That's a great book. So I want to talk about this. So when we're in situations like challenges and things that are, out of our control sometimes, and a lot of times we're classic overthinkers. That's what I am. I'm overthinking, and without a coach, without somebody bringing awareness to me, I'm going to overthink it to death. And that causes disease. I mean, it could cause cancer eventually. It could cause a lot of problems in our health. When we're overthinking, when we're overanalyzing, when we're analytical, we're like, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? That's where fear creeps in. So I wrote in my notes, distractions. Like, we have to distract our thought, because there's good distractions and there's bad distractions. So I want to talk about good distractions. So when you're in alignment with your goals and your dreams and you want to add value, I think one of the best things that I've learned recently is even though I might be suffering on the inside, even though I'm like, this isn't fair. Why, God, why? Why did I get treated this way? This is bull, bull crap, but that's not good. I mean, it's okay to, cry out to God for 5 minutes and maybe have your crying moment, of course. But my focus has been, how can I pull myself out of this, like David did in Psalms when he did some horrible things, and then he pulled himself out of that. And how can I distract myself in a good way so I can go serve people as best I can, so I can go add value, so I can hear other people's problems and relate more to them and serve more. So how has some of the good distractions been able to help your mindset grow? And then over time, you can see that you'll just be a voice that's inspiring for others, as opposed to maybe living in that suffering.
Yeah, I can't wait to be a little further in my healing to really, help a lot of men and women right now. Um, I replace a lot of the dark thoughts, and they still creep in. I
Yeah.
just replace them with positive thinking. A lot of our affirmations that I've learned through the coaching program. One of my favorite is, you don't have to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. It's
Right.
okay to self-care, and it's okay to pull back but not retreat, to heal yourself and to ask for
Mhm.
help. I
Yeah.
think that was the biggest thing and the biggest lesson that I learned in the Inside Out Institute is asking for help.
Yeah. Why is
That
it
was
so hard?
huge.
Why is it so hard for people? Is it because they think they might be annoying, or maybe they don't
Um,
think the people care about them that much?
Fear of being judged.
Mm. Yeah.
The persona of being the perfect person.
Hmm.
Oh, why would she? I think just because I make it look easy
Hmm.
doesn't mean it's hard.
Right.
And
Yep.
so that's what happened in my life. I can bounce back. I could really take a hit and come back
Yeah.
smiling. And so
Right.
people think that, oh, she's going to be okay. And so people
Yeah.
ask me to do things that they wouldn't do because they
Hmm.
perceive me as being strong. I still have a heart. I have
Yeah.
a big heart, but I
Right.
also have not had the luxury of falling apart. I am a
Yeah.
single woman that has not had a lot of support in my life. And so I've had to scrape myself off of the floor myself and be my
Right.
own biggest fan. And
Yeah.
so I have become very strong, but I haven't become hardened.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, let's talk about okay, let's switch the whole topic here for the next 5 minutes, because let's get really interesting. So let's talk about you being single. So from the things that you've learned in this year, with like law of attraction, and you've obviously become, and I'm going to ask you, in your opinion, not my, I mean, I have my opinion about it, which is all positive, but do you think you've become a more attractive person since February in general?
Oh, yeah. So I came from the beauty industry where I
Yep.
was able to take rid of wrinkles and,
Hmm.
do all the beautification. But I actually have done no services on myself because beauty has come from within.
Right.
So my kids are like, "Mom, what are you doing? You look like younger than like I've ever looked because I'm
Yep.
actually happy. I've
Right.
owned my own bullshit and I
Thank you. Yep.
don't, filter that yuck. I mean, I've met some beautiful women and men, but when you got to talk to them, they're just like really not very pretty on the inside. And
Yeah.
so beauty just gets you in the door, and you
Yep.
have to have internal beauty as well.
Well, I think a lot of beautiful people are some of the most insecure people you've ever met.
Yeah.
And I was definitely one of them. And I'm not saying I'm a beautiful but I'm just saying, like, I used to be that person where it was just like I was constantly worried about like what I look like and what I was wearing. But I think, once you do the inner healing, you just get comfortable. You get comfortable in a good way, who you are. You get comfortable in your own skin. And my heart goes out to a lot of people that are like lonely right now, and they're single, and it's COVID, and you have like every match.com and all the 100 apps out there, and they're trying to find. But when you really understand the law of attraction, yeah, you got to get out of your house. You can't meet people, without even trying. But I'm not saying don't like put yourself out there in some capacity. But once you really fall in love with yourself and you're good being single, that's when the right person, I think, comes. But if you're needy, if you need fame, celebrity, money, whether you're a man or a woman, or you're looking to like, do it for the wrong reasons, I think that's when you're really going to get in trouble. So I really believe, I think in the next 12 months, I'm just predicting this, Kimberly. And I don't know your complete why, but I'm just predicting and declaring in the next 12 months, amazing victory over your life. the right people are going to come, and they're going to continue to come, and you're going to add value to not just the hundreds, but the thousands of people. You're going to be a strong voice in the community and the people that really need to hear how you were able to face your demons and really rise up because of the training that you've had. And I think the world needs to hear more Kimberly Hausmann. Would you agree?
Yes, totally. I can't wait. I can't wait. And you said about, people are finding on these apps. They're just
Yep.
numbing out. They're looking for
Yep.
quick fixes. I
Yep.
would just encourage anybody single, do the work, get rid of
Mhm.
the head trash, own your
Mhm.
own bullshit, because you just get the hamster wheel of the same person again
Yes.
and again
Yes.
and again. And I'm just going to try to save everybody a lot of time. Just
Mhm.
stop, slow down to speed up,
Yep.
own your own bullshit, get rid of the head trash, and
Yep.
really self-care yourself, and the right people will come into your life for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and be careful if you're an empath. Stop, dating narcissistic people, because the empaths usually go for that, and
Right.
narcissistic people usually love empaths, because they can take advantage of them. So you kind of know your personality. I
Yeah.
think it's just great self-awareness. Now we can get, addicted to a lot of that stuff. And we're not talking about getting addicted to yourself and like, oh, I just love myself so much. Look at me, everybody. Like that Step Brothers. Hey, come see how good I look. No, Anchorman, right? Is it Anchorman? Hey, everybody, come see how good I look. Will Ferrell, my absolute favorite. But yeah, it's just so much wisdom in what you're saying. Because once you're just so confident in yourself, and you're just kind of get to that point where you don't need a man or you don't need a woman. But like, a woman comes from a man's rib. So they're not beneath a man. They're the same level as a man, right? So we're kind of, so if you really can be leveling with yourself and you're good with yourself and you're healthy with yourself, then you're going to really attract another healthy person. But if you're, not healthy with yourself, you're nervous, you're anxious, you're depressed, you're lonely, you're going to attract another lonely, depressed person. And that's just going to collide, and then you're going to have issues. So I think all this is important. And I think once we do go through the trauma, I'll kind of give you the last word here. I think we need to embrace it. Now, obviously, there's some very heartache traumas that, me and you have both gone through. And it's hard to embrace it, at first glance, like, oh, I embrace this and I embrace that. But I think just kind of being in that embracing of, okay, I've gone through this, it's over, it's never going to happen again, but now what? And what would be your last kind of word there of just like embracing the traumas that you have gone through, but then getting the work on yourself, especially energy healing, so that you can smarten up or whatever, maybe it was your fault, maybe it wasn't your fault, but what's your final thought about that is how you don't want to go through it again over and over again? Like what, is it just working on yourself, or is there any extra thing that you want to share with everyone that's watching this?
Yeah, this last trauma had nothing to do with me. So I really don't even know how to even answer that with this
Yeah.
last trauma. But what I would recommend for people once they get over the shock of what happened is to self-care, get the energy work. I'm sure we'll put a link for body code, emotion code, how you could release the trauma so you could
Right.
heal so much faster. And that's what's happened to a lot of people is they have held these traumas for 20, 30, 40 years, which has caused disease in their body.
Yeah.
So I would just encourage anybody that is going through trauma or who has gone through trauma, check out the emotion code, body code, reach out to healthy people, self-care, take the time to heal and, choose to be better, not bitter.
Well, let's do this, Kimberly. So we're on my Facebook page. We're on the Inside Out business page. We're on a couple of the group pages that you're aware of. If you guys literally want to talk to Kimberly literally for free, if you want to have a conversation with Kimberly, she's on what we call our advisory director board, and literally she does this during the day anyway. But if you're going through traumas right now, if you're going through situations that are really like, you're like, oh, this Facebook Live is cute and that's great and that was nice, but you're going in that dark place even 10 seconds after this is over. Look, the best thing I've ever done. Now, I've also hired a personal coach and another coach. I have a woman coach now and also a male coach who's amazing, one in Nashville, one in Washington, and I seek them out. Does that make sense? So in life, when you are going through problems, you have to seek it out. No one's going to come and save you. That's one thing I learned many, many years ago. No one's going to, not even your own mother. I mean, they're not going to come save you if they're still alive. You have to ask for help, and you have to humble yourself. In the ego, you have to get rid of it. Edging God out. Get rid of the ego. So I don't care what you've gone through is the most traumatic trauma, or you're just going through money issues right now, or you're going through, fighting with your spouse. Okay. Whether it's okay, or heavy, I want you to know Kimberly Hausmann can really take that call. So go ahead and comment, call me. We'll know that you're serious. Kimberly will see it. She'll inbox you. You guys can set it up. She has a professional link. She'll do what we call a discovery call with you. And all that is a 30-minute free opportunity for you to discover what's been your biggest challenge and how maybe we can give you some outcomes that you're really, or helping you get the outcome that you really want, going from maybe some hell to some heaven. And that's what it's all about. So we're here for you. We're here to serve you. And I know Kimberly's been doing that for many, many months. So she's great at it. So Kimberly, tell me a little bit before we end. How are these discovery calls? What do you do on them? And how have you really made an impact with people on these calls?
Oh my gosh. I mean, this is a whole nother conversation. I talk to men and women all over the world, London, Dubai, Nigeria. I get to love on them. I get to hear their journey. I get to, change their lives, change their family, change their legacy, generational changes. So I love what I do. I get to work from home, and I've met some really beautiful people. And also I have, like you said, my own discovery link. I will put it in all the comments for the people that could just go directly to my calendar and get on my schedule, and I'd love to connect with you.
Yeah, so simple. We have one here. Chrissy wants to talk with you, and maybe some of the other people that you'll see. And I enjoyed talking to a lady named Lena. So she's in the UK. London. Yeah, she's amazing. Wow, her and her husband are coaches. I mean, so I just was able to talk with her a couple days ago because of you and your kind of crew. So, hey guys, we're here to help. We're here to serve. That's why we do these lives. Look, I don't do lives for, just to show my face and talk about, some motivational stuff. We do lives on purpose because we know there's suffering out there, but you don't have to suffer no matter what has happened to you, no matter what the battle is. There is even help, even if you don't know me and Kimberly, you just kind of follow us. Who cares? Get to know us. Let's welcome you to our family. We'll treat you like family, and there's no strings. It's just basically, how can we help? How can we serve? And that's what we pride ourselves on with the InsideOut Institute. We are literally here to help people. That's what we do. So thank you so much, Kimberly, for being on tonight. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching on these platforms. And we'll look forward to helping anyone that really wants to help. Just reach out. Remember, remove ego, remove your pride. This is your moment right now, not next week, not next year. Change your life right now and reach out to us, and Kimberly will definitely help you. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.